Okay, so now
No, it's not good.
welcome to the wonderful world of bonding. Okay, so just so everybody knows, hey, come on now. Okay, just so everybody knows, all the stuff that we're actually going to be looking at is actually based is theoretical kind of evidence, okay? So this is based on theoretical concept of how compounds and elements get together. Okay, so quite often, depending on the type of learner that you are and the type of stuff that you tend to like, some people do, I will admit, struggle with this, okay, because certain things in this unit are just really difficult to picture because it's all such small stuff. And a lot of the stuff in here is actually pertaining to how electrons will actually move around within substances, okay? So the unit is kind of split up into two major categories, okay? So the two categories of this unit are the whole concept of how things will intramolecular bond, okay? And then how things will intermolecular bond. All right, so for those people, especially who are in chemistry, or sorry, biology, okay, remember we talked about intra-specific competition and inter-specific competition. There's those prefixes again that you have to know, okay? Interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills. What does that actually mean, okay? So basically, intramolecular forces are going to be the ones that happen between the same molecule, okay? So this is, for example, how like water, the hydrogens and the oxygens all get together, okay? So intramolecular forces, these are ones that we've actually kind of already talked about, okay? We'll kind of break it down afterwards. But then intermolecular forces, what would that mean then? If we're saying intra is between the same molecule, it'd be between different molecules, okay? So intermolecular forces are between different molecules. So this would be, for example, how does a water molecule interact with another nearby water molecule? They get together. The end. They have to party, yep. Okay, so intramolecular forces, okay, so this is like subcategory A of 1. Okay, so there's only 3 types of intramolecular forces that we're actually going to talk about. 2 of them are actually ones that we're really going to focus on. The third one is kind of like a little bit weird to kind of look at, but the first one is just simple ionic bonding. Okay, so ionic bonding has everything to do with transfers of electrons. Okay, so this should not be anything new for you guys. Okay, transfers of electrons. So somebody gains electrons or somebody loses electrons. Okay, the second type of intramolecular force that we're actually going to be talking about is covalent bonding. Does anybody remember what covalent bonding might be? They share, okay? So they share electrons, so there's a share of electrons, or sharing of electrons, okay, in the covalent bonding subcategory of intramolecular forces, okay? So how is it possible that, let's say, sodium and chloride get together? How is it possible that, you know, 2 hydrogens and 1 single oxygen get together? So that's all intramolecular forces. How do these atoms get together based on these like attractive forces, of which we'll talk about in here, okay? Now the last one is actually on one of the category or types of substances that we don't really get into very, very much, but this is actually intermetallic bonding, okay? So between metals, okay? So intermetallic bonding, we will talk about that afterwards, but it's really just a very minor thing. The two main things that you guys are absolutely gonna know 100% about is covalent bonding and ionic bonding. Okay, super important for that unit. Okay, then the intermolecular forces, just to kind of break that down, okay, there's actually 3 in there. So the first one is what we'll call London dispersion forces, and we'll actually talk about that later on, okay? London dispersion forces, also known as LDFs, okay? And this is going to be something that you're desperately going to need to know for Chem 30, and especially in the organic chemistry portion, okay? Then you have dipole-dipole forces. So it sounds like you're even speaking a different language right now, right? Okay, and then finally you've got hydrogen bonding. And hydrogen bonding is actually one that you likely would have heard of before in the past, okay? But these are all the different types of forces that are responsible for intermolecular bonding and how things actually get attracted, and it actually helps us explain why is it that some substances are solids, liquids, and gases, okay? But like I said, we'll get into greater detail with that later on in the unit. Ready?